So a thought on the weekly Parsha, my dear friends and Talmidim. This week we read Parshas Miketz. And when Yaakov's children come back from Eretz Mitzrayim and they ask Yaakov, give us Binyamin, because that is what the king's deputy demands. And Yaakov cries and he says, Yosef eneno, Shimon eneno, es Binyamin tikocho, olai hoyu kulono. There's an amazing word from the Vilna Gaon. He says this word olai is familiar to us from a previous stage in the story of Yaakov Avinu. When Rivka tells Yaakov, dress up as Esav, pretend to be Esav, and get the brochas. Yaakov is terrified, he's afraid, and he says, Ula yemishani yovi, v'yisi be'enav kemitateya v'hevesi alai klolo v'loi brocha. And Rivka says, Olai kiloloscho beni. Don't be afraid. Olai kiloloscho beni. A person cannot run away, cannot escape his destiny. And I see Baruch HaKodesh. Olai is 3 letters. Esav, Lavan, Yosef. I see Baruch HaKodesh that you will have 3 tremendous challenges and nisyonos in your life. You will need to prevail. Esav, Lavan, and Yosef. So do as I command. Many years transpired, and many momentous events in the life of Yaakov Avinu. And when he is asked to give Binyamin, to send him down to Eretz Mitzrayim, Yaakov is heartbroken, and he says, Olai hoyu kolono. Many years ago, I was a young man, and my great mother, Rivka Imenu, promised me, Olai kiloloscho beni. I passed Esav. I prevailed the Nesoyin of Lavan. Yosef eineno. What more? How could this be? And in a very short time, it became obvious, it became apparent that this is not another curse, but a blessing. And Yaakov goes down to Eretz Mitzrayim, and he is so gratified to meet Yosef HaTzadik. And it was Lefleito Gedoylo. Many times I explained, Yaakov Avinu is unique. Yaakov is called Yisrael. Yaakov is us. We are Yaakov. And the story of Yaakov Avinu, in a way, is the story of every generation of Bnei Yisrael. Yaakov, more than all the others and Amos, is with us through this terrible golus. And it is he that will bring us out of the terrible golus. Onoichi ered imcho mitzraymo, v'onoichi alcho gam oloi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Yaakov Avinu. These 3 nisyonos, Esav, Love, and Yosef, are with us in every generation. Esav was out to kill Yaakov. He said it. Yikrovu yemei avi v'argo es Yaakov ochi. He was a murderer. Haman was another Esav, bikesh lahashmid laharag u'liyapid. The modern day Esav, the modern day Haman was Hitler, and the Nazis Yamach Shemon v'zichron. This unbelievable evil of the final solution and plotting to destroy Klal Yisrael. That is the modern day Esav. What does Lavan mean? Bikesh Lavan la'abed es hakol. But we do not find that Lavan tried to kill Yaakov. But when Lavan tells Yaakov, Habonam bonai, habonis benoisai, we're all the same. Why do we need to part? That is a mortal danger for Klal Yisrael. And Yaakov understands we need to part. And it's time to go home. Habonam einam bonecho, vabonis einam benoisecho. My sons are not your sons, and my daughters are not your daughters. We need to part. We are not the same. We are in the midst of Yom Chanukah. The Yevonim were another version of Lavan. Unlike Haman, they were not out to destroy, but rather lashkicham torosecho laviram chikzanecho. And the bigger nesoin was the Mesyavenim, those thousands of Jews who sympathized with the Greeks. They were not aware of the mortal danger of lashkicham torosecho v'laviram achukaritzanecho. And Yosef. Yosef is also with us in every generation. And Yosef is the plague of sinas chinam, of machloikis. So how do we deal with Esav? We take out a Tehillim, the Doiron, the tefillah lemelchama. How do we deal with Lavan in the Beis HaMedrash? By learning Torah, by teaching Torah, by understanding the difference of Chavav Adam Shenivra B'Tselem and Chavivin Yisrael Shenikru Bonem Lemokoim. We can't mix. We're not the same. Habonem Einam Bonecho, Habones Einam Benoisecho. How do we deal with Yosef? Obviously, Tilim is not enough, and Torah is not enough, because we daven and we learn, and Yosef is still with us. And we need to do far more. We are in the midst of a pandemic. And the last thing we could afford is Machlokes, because Machlokes, more than anything else, brings Midas Adin and overrides Midas Arachamim. Rab Chaim Vital Akutei Torah Parsha shoiftem on the psukim. Ki yepolam em chadova ben dam ledam ben nega lenega. Rab Chaim Vital brings an amazing pshat from the Riyah Kodesh. We find in Medrash that b'shas chor mabayis malachei hashoras asta Kodesh Baruch Hu Rabboni shel olam. You are the one that said v'shofach es domei v'chisui ba'afar, a mitzvah of kisui adam. Oisoi v'yes benoi lois eshchato b'yom echad. And you didn't practice what you taught us. Domam nishpach kamayim ve'en koivar. Tzidkiyahu and his children were murdered in the same day. In the din of Nigei Batim, we find a mitzvah of Pinuas Abayis, V'roa Koyenes Anega. First, we take out the Kalim, to salvage the Kalim from Tumas Negoim. And you did not do the same. Bayis V'kol Machmodeo Oilem Be'esh. By Chor Mabayis, you didn't salvage the Kalim. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered? The Medrash doesn't say, but the Riyah Kodesh did say. And the response of HaKadosh Baruch Hu was, Divrei rivois b'shorecha. All those mitzvahs are a certain manifestation of mercy, of midas orachamim. But b'shas machlokes there is no midas orachamim, only midas adin. So in these difficult times, the last thing we could afford is machlokes. So I beg and plead with everyone. We might have differences of opinion. Maybe it's inevitable. We could try to convince, but not more than that. But there is no room for sinas zacham and no room for machlokes. We cannot afford machlokes anytime, never, but especially when midas adin is hurting us. Talmidei Chacham Amar B'Sholem B'Yolam. We should have the schiyah and the schus and the privilege. Laharbois avo va'achva v'sholem v'reyes. So we should be zoich in these days of light. Yemei ha'oiro, Yemei Chanukah. Kodesh Baruch Hu should send us Mashiach Tzidkeinu, v'yegolenu, v'yivnelonu, es beis mikdoshenu, v'sefartenu, b'meheru, v'yomeinu, amen. A lichtige Chanukah and a beautiful Shabbos.